All right. Well, it's that time. Time to clear out my locker and see what's left over and talk a little bit about, the, well, what it feels like to finally be done. So, in short, it is after finals, and kudos to my instructor, one of my instructors who's in the other room there just grading some projects and stuff, who was nice enough to let me into the lab to get my stuff. But I definitely will say that doing the graduation hit differently, and I'm not going to go into the reasons why I skipped out on my high school graduation. It doesn't need to be public information on the internet. Those of you who know, but I'd prefer you not to say in the comments. Let's just say that when I actually was walking, from our effectively staging area down the hall and into the backside of the theater and started to hear Pomp and Circumstance play, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not one to get super emotional. I have a very bad habit of just shutting off my emotions to get through things, and that's very helpful in some situations, and it's not very wise in others. And I think that's when reality started to set in of what I had done, and it hit differently. I'm not gonna lie, and I have to hand it to Jay and Rosa and Mary in the office for doing their part to make the graduation go as smoothly as it did. And at the end, when our department head Mary was getting choked up saying, the graduating class of 2025, that still hits me even now. A couple days afterwards, she knows what a lot of us went through, especially those of us who had to quit, like me during COVID. And it's a lot to process if you can't tell. But I will say, as much as I'm going to miss my classmates and my instructors, it is an incredibly free feeling knowing that I don't have to worry about, I can't get into this class I need, I can't get into that class I need, which was honestly super frustrating in the past. And I don't think the reality of everything kind of fully set in until one of my Caltrain crew that I'd known for years was asking me, so how does it feel to know that you're graduating? And it was right around the time that registration was opening up for students, and I was like, honestly, not having to worry about registering for classes for once is it's a weird feeling, because I was, every single time registration would open up, it was always super frustrating because I couldn't get into the classes you needed initially, and then I gotta call my parents and tell them, and I was like, why can't you get in? And I'm like, sorry guys, there's just no room. And anybody who's been in that position will understand it's really frustrating, and there is nothing you can do about it, which is super, it is what it is. If you have a problem with it, go complain to the state. But that's when it really hit. Like, wow, this is for real. It's happening. I don't have to worry about that. And that hit differently. For once, I didn't have to worry about it. And I think that was the beginning of now I just got to mentally prepare myself for going through the graduation. And I'm definitely glad I did it, though, because I was able to put a lot of stuff from the past to rest, and that was a really good feeling. And I will say it was pretty funny, though, because my dad is not a big city person. He's not really a public transit person, but just riding the 30 minutes from Millbrae, where our hotel was at, on BART, not even 30 minutes, like 15 minutes of that on BART from Millbrae to Daly City, and then we only had to wait like 3 minutes to catch a 28 bus to campus. My dad's like, wait, you did this? And I'm like, yeah, this is a fraction of the commute that I was doing the last 2 semesters, because I had been living with a really good friend, Jimmy, from Jimmy Shaw's Tidbits, for the last few years, and for the last 2 semesters I was commuting either from, now on Mondays last semester I had to drive to San Jose because I couldn't catch a Gilroy train back, but on Tuesdays and Thursdays I was having to, pretty much what I was doing is, on Mondays I would drive to San Jose and usually get in, like, I forget when. I'd usually try and get in so I could catch a at least a limited train or a local train, because I think it was like a 4 to 650 class, something like that. I can't entirely remember, but pretty much I had to drive to San Jose, which was about an hour each way. And by the time I got out, I had to catch a local train home, which took forever. I wasn't getting home until like 9:30, 10:30 at night. Then I have to turn around and wake up at 4:45 to go and catch the train on Tuesday morning to then go up to campus, and then usually get out. I'd usually catch like 3:20 or 4:20 train. And it wasn't until later in that semester that I actually figured out that I knew the crew that was working the night train, which was really cool. So when I needed to stick around longer to do things like my chair project and stuff, I ended up riding back with them, and I have to hand it to the crews that I know, because they saw the slow decline of Calvin those last 2 weeks, and I've got to hand it to them for being absolutely incredible with hyping me up going into stuff. I mean, that really helped, because sometimes you just feel like you're all alone in this, and when you've got your crew going, hey man, we know it's hard, your project's looking absolutely awesome, we know you're going to kick butt on the final, go in there and kick butt tomorrow morning, you got this, like, really, really meant a lot to me. So yeah, and then this semester, thankfully, I had a Tuesday midday class, so I just catch the last Gilroy train home, and I'd usually catch the early morning train so I could just ride in with the crew that I knew, have plenty of time to go around and do fun stuff in the city, work on the project, things like that. So that was really cool. But yeah, I think in a way reality is setting in, but not necessarily in a bad way. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a little daunting not knowing what the future holds, but there's also a lot of freedom in that, knowing the fact that it's like I can do whatever I want, and that's awesome. And as my dad said after the graduation, this is something they can't take away from you, and that hit differently. That really did. So it's kind of a little status update on where I'm at, and I'm not gonna lie, it's probably going to be a little bit until I start cranking out videos, because I have a lot of stuff I need to take care of between now and when I fly out to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for the Mid-Hudson model train meet. Definitely not going to try and go out there just absolutely burnt out, because that would not be fun. I really want to try and shoot some awesome content out there. I know there's a ton of East Coast modelers who have for years have been begging me to come out there, so it's finally time to pay my dues and go and visit the people who helped fund me getting through all this. So yeah, and I do want to extend a massive thank you to everybody who's, ordered stuff from the Etsy shop, sent me encouraging messages, said, hey dude, I'm praying for you, you've got this. All the crews on Caltrain who I know and don't know who've hauled me around. I mean, without you guys, could I have done this? Yeah. Would it have been a lot suckier? Definitely. And also just a massive thank you to all my instructors who know what I've been through to get to this point, especially during COVID with everything. It just, yeah, that wasn't fun. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. So with that, I'm going to sign off so I can actually pack my stuff up and eventually get out of here. See you guys, well, in the next video. So until then, go check out the Etsy shop. You don't need to buy anything. It just means a lot if you did. Alright, see you guys later.